Hi, I'm Jennifer of celticknotcroc.com, and today I'm going to show you how to weave the Celtic heart knot. First you want to gather your supplies, so you'll need the diagram from the pattern. You can find the pattern on my blog at celticknotcroc.com. Then you'll need a piece of cork board. They usually come very thin, about a 1/4 inch thick, very easy to cut with any kind of craft scissors to the size that you need. I cut mine about 5 or 6 inches by 6 inches, I guess. And then you need some straight sewing pins, and you're ready to weave. But before I show you how to do it on the small diagram, I'd like to first show you on a larger scale so it's easier to see how the knot works. So here is a larger piece of styrofoam with a much larger knot, as you can see by my hand. I'm still going to use some pins. And sometimes the first step to helping you weave a Celtic knot is to take your finger and find the star. Most of my patterns I ask you to start at the star or the asterisk, and then take your finger of your dominant hand and just follow along the knot pattern, following the arrows, taking note. Here we went under, then we're going to go over, now an under, over, under, over, under, over. And that just helps your brain to see where the knot is headed and to help you to take note of all those under and overs. Another technique that you can use is that you can take a highlighter and you can color in where, when you start the process, where you're going to go over with the cord. So I see here that I'm going to go over, and then as I come to here, this is another over, and then right here will be another over. Come across here is another over, under. Right here there's actually an over. Now I go under that over. Right here is another over. Then I go under, over right here. Then there's an over right here, under, then an over, under, and my last over. So that might make it more complicated for you, but it's just another technique. It might help you as well. Then you want to start with the end of your cord that has the yarn tails and place that end right on that star. Move this down a little to help you. And that's when I use a pin. And then I simply lay the cord in the path of the arrows, in the direction of the arrows I should say, and going along. Now as you first start, as you can see, even though I am going over, there's no cord underneath yet. Soon we'll get a cord to come underneath. So here goes our first over. If we slide it to the side, we can see the green mark. I'm going to take out that pin and put it back there. And now the end of that cord is hidden under this overpass. And I'm just going to continue pinning in the path. Here I am now down to the point, so we're halfway through the heart, and this is where it might start getting complicated for you. Now if I look, I see from the original diagram that this one that I've already laid down is the over, so I need to go under. So I find the end of the cord, lift it slightly, being careful not to raise it too much, and I pull it underneath like that, making sure that the right side is facing. Got a little twisted there. So now I've just gone under, and now the next one is going to be an over. Now I also know that to be a true Celtic knot, you must alternate under and over. So if you have 2 unders in a row when it's completed, or you have 2 overs in a row when it's completed, then something's amiss and you have to go back and fix your knot, because the alternating under and overs is what locks it in place. So now I'm just going to continue around like so. Need some more pins. Need about 20 pins or so, maybe a few less. So now I come here. Now I'm not sure, am I going to go over or under? So I just pull this to the side and I see that the path I'm on is labeled with the green, so that means I'm going to go over. And then here comes the next one. I can see this one is the over, so I need to go under. Sometimes it helps also to have another copy of the diagram right next to you without the cords on top, so you can follow along, and we're right here. So you can see, okay, there's one coming this way and I'm heading this way, I need to go under. So I keep that just out of the camera's angle, but I can still see it. Okay, and then next I look again. Here's the green, so I know with this working end that I'm using I have to go over. Now we're going to curl around, and this one is now the over, so I know I need to go under. And since this is my last stretch, if I just were to lay it down, you can see the heart will be completed. I know that from here on out I have to do under over alternating, because that locks the Celtic knot in place. So I just went under. Now I'm going to go over. So next I would go under, and then the last step is over, and then this short little piece right here I would just fold over the back, and for now pin in place. And then sometimes you need to adjust it. So all the spaces look even. And there you have the Celtic heart knot. Now before you finish, I like to pin several crossings like this, just to hold the knot in place, especially the ends, where I started and where I ended. And then you can actually take the rest out and by taking them out you can see that now the knot is locked in place, and then you can turn it over. Here's the wrong side, and you can use these yarn tails to sew down the ends and even sew some of these cords in place. I just continue to use these ends, so I'm weaving them in and hiding them at the same time as joining all these places in the knot. So let me show you that with the smaller diagram. Here we have the smaller corkboard and the smaller diagram found in the pattern. And here is the cord. This one you can see I edged with the contrasting color. And I'm going to find the asterisk or star in the diagram. Pin the end in place. And just as I did before, we'll work around the diagram. Now remember, the pins are there to help you, so you can use as many as you want to hold it in place. If you need to add some because it's sliding around, So here's where I have to go under. And here, if I look, I'm going over. Now, one thing to notice is you can see right here, I have 2 overs in a row. But remember, I said once your heart or your knot is completed, then you can check if you have under and overs alternating. So right now it looks like it's wrong, but we're going to have one more piece to come through here to fix that. So here's my last stretch of the knot. So I know that I'm going to go under, over. Don't forget about this guy right here. You have to go under, happen to have yarn tails at both ends of this cord this time. And then I fold it over. And sometimes I leave the first pin in to hold the end, the starting end, and I leave a pin in to hold the ending, but then I can adjust it. This needs to come down a little bit more to make it even. Pull this one over so the top looks even. Shape the bottom so it looks more like a point. And there you go. And just like I demonstrated earlier, you pin these here to hold it in place. And actually I'll show you don't even need to over here because of the over-unders have locked it in place. Slide that down a little so you can adjust the knot, and then you can turn it over, and using these yarn tails carefully sew the ends together. Now you'll see, because it's nice and tight and there aren't many spaces, you probably don't need to sew all of these crossings, and it is sometimes a little tedious. And another thing that you can do is you can use a glue gun, and you can just glue gun the end. Since this is going to be on something that I'm not going to wash, I might make a Christmas ornament out of this, or a key ring, or a decorative wall hanging. So for any of those things that you don't need to wash, and definitely if you have to just blot at it with a damp cloth if it gets a spot of something, you don't need to immerse it in water. You can use a glue gun, and that holds things in place great. And then I also use that technique if I wanted to back it with some felt. And you'll see that in the pattern. I just glue it on, press it down, then cut with my scissors around the edge, and it has a nice backing, finishes it off and covers up the wrong side. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our channel for more Celtic Knot helps and designs.